being a person who deals with depression and anxiety, suicidal thoughts, that kind of stuff, there's some things that I kind of wanted to share with you about, and I hope that this kind of helps someone else who maybe is where, or maybe sometimes where I am most of the time. And that's this, okay? When you deal with things like depression and stuff, some things happen and you carry this pain. Sometimes nothing has happened, different people, I understand, okay? Just hear what I'm trying to say here, okay? For whatever reason, you're carrying this weight of just sadness and, just despair. Um, you, you know what I'm saying. So just whatever, fill in the blank with whatever it is you're going through, right? And so we think, what is the solution? How can I get over this? How can I stop hurting? How can I make it as though this, didn't happen? How can I, fix this? How can I heal? Okay? So there's this ugliness in me, this failure in me. How can I get past that? I probably won't be able to say all that I want to say in just this one video, but it's just something that I want to talk about. Sometimes I felt like this, okay? The only way I can stop the hurting is through suicide. But something that I have learned by not committing suicide is that suicide isn't the final solution for pain. Depending on your religious views, I shouldn't say that, because if you believe something that's wrong, it's still wrong. So not depending on your religious views, depending on who has the correct understanding of what happens after death, it might actually even be the beginning of pain. So, I mean, that's something to think about. And so for some of us are thinking, wow, so you're saying that it only gets worse? No, I'm not. well, just kidding. I'm joking. Learn to laugh if you struggle with things like depression. Learn to laugh. It transfers the pain. It does that, but it's not the final solution for pain. Okay. First off, it doesn't end with you living your life without pain. It ends with you no longer having a life. So that didn't actually fix the solution. But then also, suicide isn't the final solution for pain, it's the final problem. It's a problem, check this out, that only you can solve. When you commit suicide, you are making a final problem that you can't fix because your action is making the problem. Okay? Only you can solve this problem. You may not feel, or you may feel too much, or you might go between the extremes very quickly, but you are still in control of what you do. See, when I go through really bad times, I feel like I'm not in control, that I can't stop feeling like this, that, I'm doomed to failure, that I'm doomed to this end. But here's the thing. Those are feelings. I can't control the way that I feel. I can control what I do with it. Okay, give me an example. Somebody does me wrong. I don't have to get angry. I don't have to strike back and win the argument. I don't have to do that. I am still in control of what I decide to do. Okay, now, roll with me on this, okay? Just because of how you're feeling, you don't have to give in to that feeling. A feeling, a desire, a thought, or a lack of feeling, it's just something to endure, an extra burden that you have to carry. I don't think I can carry it. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Right now, realize evidently you can carry it, because here you are. You might be exhausted. I understand what that's like. But at the end of the day, we are in control as to whether or not we give in to those things. We are still in control. Suicide is a final problem, and we have the answer for it. We don't have to let suicide win. I will admit that carrying this kind of stuff will make life harder, but not impossible. It makes things that you go through, it'll make them harder. Absolutely. I'm not trying to say that that's not a thing. Absolutely, that's a thing. But it's not impossible to keep going. And then the last thing I want to say about this, okay? Something that I have discovered, okay? With the pain that I carry, I realize I'm likely going to carry it to death. I understand that. I realize that that's going to make life a lot harder, a lot more tiring. I understand that I'm going to have to change things with how I'm living. If, for instance, I have to go the next, let's say I die in 40 years, okay? So if I have to go the next 40 years carrying this depression, anxiety, and stuff, I understand that I'm not going to be able to handle as much emotional strain as other people. That's the first thing. Second off, I understand that Jesus Christ is the only way that I'm going to make it. Because he's not going to change me or magically lift it off or anything like that, or just make it where I don't have any struggles anymore. He's not going to do that. But I understand that he's going to be with me. He's going to comfort me. He's going to lead me and guide me. I understand that. I understand that no matter how hard of a time I have, I always have a harder time when I go my own way. I always have a harder time when I rebel against him and take it out on him as though it's his fault. Okay? And then I also know that in the next life, I have a hope that goes past death. I might have to endure something now, but in the next life, I won't have to carry that anymore. And in this life, I can carry it as he carries me. And I hope that kind of maybe gives you some hope. So, keep suicide in perspective. You do have a choice, and it's yours to make.